You led me straight to the fall. I'm broken, I'm still trying, skin and bone.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm so late to this video. A few days ago, though, Howie Mandel interviewed JoJo Siwa, and he asked the tough questions. I don't really see a lot of these podcasts asking, or wouldn't ask, because, I mean, most didn't interview JoJo Siwa. But JoJo Siwa was friends with Colleen Ballinger, who, of course, got into trouble a few months ago. We did a whole video on that. But Howie Mandel asks, what about their friendship now? And then JoJo Siwa went on to defund Colleen Ballinger for no reason. Could have just avoided the question, pushed it off, and we're gonna react to some of those clips here today and talk about it a little bit. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let's get into it.
If I'm wrong, are you friends with Colleen Ballinger still?
Yeah,
What do you say about that?
I've known Colleen since I was 12.
So for those that don't know, Colleen is in the middle of a kind of a...
It's tough.
Yeah, it's just a tough thing right now, just in the middle of it. It's over. I don't think she's made a single video. If she did, no one cares. It's not like when Shane Dawson made another video and everyone freaked out and was mad. So if she did, it's just her career's over at this point. You're not even helping your case. You're not helping Colleen's case. You literally said you became friends when you were 12. She was in a... Oh my god. I know someone out there is gonna defund it. I'm sure there is no reason why a 12-year-old would randomly become friends with an adult.
Colleen, what was the name of the character?
Miranda sings.
Miranda sings. My other daughter went to all the concerts and everything, and she's getting accused of things.
Yes.
Which we don't have to talk about that she's accused of, but I would imagine if you're friends with her, you kind of met her when you were young.
First and foremost, listen, if you're gonna talk about this and ask the questions, you should talk about the allegations a bit. And I love how he's kind of wording this in the best way possible. Speaking of these allegations and, you were friends with her when you were young, how he's trying to ask the tough questions. I credit him for that, but he does not seem to know what he's doing.
Young?
I was 12 when I met her.
And
she's always been nothing but kind to me. Her family, nothing but kind to me. I think it's really... This is the first time that I've talked about this, so I just want to make sure I say my exact piece that I want to say. The internet can take a lie and run so far with it, so far that it's to the point where you just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, this happens on the internet where they take one line, go far with it. But this is not the same situation. They had evidence, they have messages, they have a reason of why they're taking it so far. And part of the reason they are taking it so far is Colleen's own response. So it's a bit on her. She also, in her response, did not straight up show any evidence that turns it away from the situation we are seeing. We don't get to see it in a different light. She just sings about it. So it's not really the internet taking just a line and running with it. Taking just a little lie. Where's all the response to all these things that happen? Jojo, what's your side on it then? If you are trying to think of how to respond, what do you think about what Colleen was sending in the mail or saying on these text messages? And at the very least, since you were friends with her at a young age, I hope you go in to explain how when you talked to her, she didn't do any of these things. Which, again, wouldn't explain the other messages, but, you would hope that would be the defense, not just she's nice to you.
And I've had that happen to me. And I know Colleen very, very, very well. And I think the work that Colleen has done for the internet is incredible. I think her creativity is incredible. Miranda sings.
Yeah, but how is being creative any sort of, defense for this? Because there's a lot of... you have to be, very creative and put in a lot of work for the internet to kind of gloss over certain things. And these are one of these situations where there's a lot of things that she did that you really can't gloss over for a few good internet videos that really, like, no offense, maybe it's just a different side of the internet. I have not watched a single piece of content that was affected or similar by Miranda Sings or Colleen Ballinger. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I didn't see her impact on the internet. I've heard about her, but, like, I don't think anything I've watched was impacted by her. Also, I love that she just says, and I almost forgot to mention this, that she was very, very, very close. It's not that they just knew each other for people who's trying to, like, go in on that defense of their friendship. They knew each other very, very, very well. And without the clarification, because maybe I'm wrong, that includes most of when JoJo was a minor. Unless she goes and say, like, oh, we were only close for a little bit, but got very close, above the age, which is still, like, it's gonna sound weird no matter what, because I think JoJo has to only be a year or two above 18. I could be wrong here.
And I think that it's very hard to be a character where people are also looking at you as you're a real human behind that character. And I think being a comedian is very hard because you were able to do things years ago that were okay, and now that we've...
Yeah, but it's not the jokes he's made. I mean, some of them were pretty bad, and some of them people are mad at. But the real only jokes he did that people are kind of actually talking about a lot was the ones she did on stage involving, the kids, like, spreading their legs and stuff like that, which is video evidence of, which was never okay to do on stage.
And now that we've grown and we've matured, we've realized that they're not okay. You know what I mean?
But you, as somebody who's been in the public eye for a long time,
Yes.
Do you think that it is appropriate to communicate openly with everybody that reaches out to you?
No, I don't think that communicating with fans is... You got to be careful to not...
And that's what I'm saying.
To not blur a friend-fan line. It's very tough.
And here's my question to you. Regardless of judging whatever specifically is being said that was happening, and I'm just saying this as a parent again. You said you started communicating with her when you were 12.
Yes.
You want to be a parent?
But you guys were in the same industry,
so we were
too.
in the
like,
same...
You guys were making videos and stuff together,
So
right?
I love that JoJo can barely get through a sentence without long pauses. I get that she probably doesn't know exactly what to say, but she really is not helping the defense when you have to stutter through a sentence that doesn't really make sense. And Howie Mandel brings it back to allegations and is trying to be nice about it. And then acts from, like, the parent point of view, and I think this is his daughter? Trying to throw a bone to JoJo, but it's not like they were in the same industry. I don't know if JoJo went into the internet. I'm assuming from how they're talking about it, she eventually started doing YouTube. But she started from Dance Moms, which is a reality show based on, kids dancing. Not just like she was an actor or anything, which I think she's done some acting stuff now. And Colleen was an actor. Colleen was doing stuff on YouTube, skits and stuff like that. Those are pretty different. And at the end of the day, even being in the same industry, it's not like a movie set where two characters are paired on screen together and you gotta act with someone who's younger. For you to go and do a video, you are going to each other's houses, which is kind of weird when you have to invite a kid over to your house to do a video, or you have to go over to their house. Like, it's the bit of the difference between YouTube and acting is how much of your own personal life is in it and behind the scenes of it versus going to a movie studio set. And it's not like you can like JoJo Siwa as an actor. You would have to like them as a reality show person, which is a bit... It's not the same thing because they are a kid and you're just watching their life.
So we actually met because on Dance Moms, do you know Tadra Hall?
Yes.
So on Dance Moms, Tadra Hall had a party and invited the Dance Moms cast, and 4 of the girls went, and they discluded myself and Nia, who is another girl on the show. And we all knew Tadra, so we were fine with that. But then Colleen, as Miranda, surprised the girls. And me and Nia were devastated because we were massive fans and we loved Colleen and we loved Miranda. And then when the episode came out, Colleen saw how upset me and Nia were. And she reached out to Holly and was like, I would love to like make this up to you guys. She was like, I was wondering where JoJo and Nia were. Like, I had no idea that this was the case. Like, please, like, whatever you guys want. Like,
see, that is a nicer story, and that's probably the way you sort of started with the explanation, because that actually helps your friend seem like a half-decent portion, is that she was just trying to do a good deed as like a YouTuber that these kids looked up to. But then it doesn't help the friend case, because it's basically the stories explaining that you guys looked up to her as a YouTuber, and she went and visited you because you guys were fans. That doesn't really help. That doesn't help much.
I had no idea that this was the case. Like, please, like, whatever you guys want. Like, I just want to make the kids happy. Like, I just want...
Oh my god, you do not help her whatsoever. She just wants to make the kids happy.
That's a wonderful, sweet, appropriate story.
Yes.
How is it for you now being her friend and reading some of what we read? Do you think it's all a lie? Do you think it's... Like, have you talked to her?
There have been a lot of people on the internet who have gotten hit with this cancellation. And a lot of them I know. Some of them I don't know. And I look at it and I see that this is a sensitive subject. Somebody who is affected by any sort of anything having to do with adults, and I mean, for real grooming it's a very sensitive thing.
Oh my god, you are stumbling through this sentence and having a difficult time. You could have just answered in a sentence and be like, I don't know how I feel about it. I just know that cancellation's, going around. Because it's clear as day she's denying it, because she says real grooming, which means she's implying this isn't real grooming. If she wants to go in and explain how there is worse cases of it, there is. There is definitely worse cases of it that happens at schools and stuff like that. But this was still really bad. It was still illegal. It sounded really gross from the messages I saw. Yes, there is worse cases like R. Kelly, but that doesn't make this okay.
It's a very sensitive thing.
You must have really young people reaching out to you now.
I mean, I do, and it's funny. Like, I realized when I hit 18, I was like, oh, this is different now. Like, because
right.
You're young and you're dumb, and I was like, I need to be very careful about this.
Like, I know, like, her daughter's 9.
Yeah.
If she could right now, and she
Write
watches
to you and talk to you, like
she would,
yeah.
and she would love to be your friend and love to be online.
And I'm sure you want to reach out to your fans and be like, hey, and give that back to them, since they're such big fans of you.
The difference with Colleen and I is we were, once I became her friend and she became my friend, and she became somebody that I looked up to. She became somebody that I idolized. She became somebody that I was like, wow, this person is a hard worker. She's a genius.
Okay, I'm gonna cut off. Yeah, genius, I wouldn't call 90% of YouTubers even close to genius. No offense, even to the ones I like. I think, though, most of the ones I like would agree. It's not like, a piece of art most of them are making. A lot of them are funny, and comedy can be art, but I don't really see it as the same line as being a genius, and I would hope even Miranda Sins herself wouldn't call herself a genius. So far, she's not really saying much of anything that really is a good defense. It seems like she keeps switching her sentences because she knows it sounds bad. She was starting to say how she wouldn't talk to fans and she knows what to do, but then starts talking about how, her relationship's different. I feel like JoJo Siwa was trying to defend her relationship at the same time and realized partway through the sentence it was gonna sound bad. But it doesn't help the full case of Colleen, because you aren't defending or explaining that. And you don't have to. Your friends do not have to agree with everything you have done. JoJo Siwa could have just went on here and be like, I don't know about all that. But as far as our friendship went, it was fine. It was dandy. nothing bad has happened, but she's not even, like, she's only explained, like, one story that makes it sound decent. And maybe it's the question she's being asked, but she's not even explaining how her friendship with her was good. I get it doesn't sound bad, but she keeps saying things like, oh, I looked up to her, I thought she was a genius, you know, and we're friends. It's still, like, that's a bit weird. You should have just... It doesn't sound as good as saying, when we became friends, nothing weird ever happened. I did look up to her, yes, but that never put me into a situation where she had a power advantage in our friendship.
She's a very strong YouTuber, and I idolize that, you know? And so throughout our friendship, we've probably filmed 100 videos together, and she's cool, you know? And I think the problem is the internet was able to capitalize off of her cancellation, and they still are continuing to, and it's not okay because a lot of it is based off of lies, and it is
a scary place when you put yourself. It was one thing, you know, I came to television, which is totally different.
He's tried to help her, but just couldn't. They failed a little bit, and they tried. I just wish. I don't want to just, like, be negative and hate, but man, JoJo, you did not help your case. You did not help Colleen. You've only kind of made her look worse, which is pretty bad. Speaking from the song, made her look pretty bad. But you've only kind of helped her get back into the news in a negative light. She simply could have just said something along the lines of what I was saying, where it's just like, hey, our friendship, it was always good, it was always professional, she never did anything wrong, there was no power advantages. I can't speak on the rest of the stuff, but going on my relationship with her, it's always been good and dandy. Then if she wants to say, like, hey, some of that stuff I didn't feel like was a lie, I think would have been better taken than it was. But I mean, with the amount of evidence there was, come on, whatever. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know it was a few days late to it, and it probably will be later once this gets posted. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Make sure have a good night.
I'm done with hitting your wall. Short notice, I just gotta let you know. You led me straight to the fall. I'm broken, I'm still trying, skin and bones.